bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985. You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well. Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? Today's Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. Let's do this, man. For KJCR, the Game Changer, and NX Networks, Ray's Hobbs. Great show last night. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Tonight, we have very special guest. Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10 joins us. He doesn't do interviews often. I think the only other interview he did was probably on Fade to Black. Is this his second interview? That's pretty cool. Tomorrow night, it's Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio stopping by. And then Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. All right. Now, coming up, I'll be speaking at the X Conference this Friday, the 13th. It's a 2-day event, May 13th and 14th. Online. Full info at unxnetwork.com. I'll be hosting Disclosure Fest coming up next month on June 18th. Wow, it's coming up quick. 1-day event, the biggest event of the year. And it's happening right here in Los Angeles, downtown at the Los Angeles State Historic Park. Visit disclosurefest.org for tickets and info, full schedule, and lots of stages. This is a big event. And then coming up in October, I will be in Egypt with Billy Carson, and space is very limited. And if you would like to go and hang out with us and help me celebrate my birthday, October 10th in Luxor during the Nile cruise, unbelievable, my birthday in Luxor in Egypt with Billy Carson and all of you. So visit forbiddenknowledge.com for the complete schedule and info. All right, links for everything is in the description box below and throughout social media, and, of course, over at our website, jimmychurchradio.com. You can follow me on Twitter at jchurchradio. The Sandbox, which is already on fire, is hashtag F2B right there. It's always live in front of me. And I just enjoy, all the gifts that pop up at the beginning of the show each night. And we have, wow, look at, you guys are the best, man. You guys are the absolute very best. What does that say? Nisi Sprouse. I'm catching the show live for once. Good for you. Good for you. Any questions or comments during the show? Hashtag F2BQ. And I was just over in the YouTube chat right before the show, and they are talking about MREs, meals ready to eat, and camping. It's like, what do you guys? Oh, man. I have in my garage, I have my go packs just in case, right? And I've got plenty of emergency food supplies. And they're all right out there. And it tastes pretty good. When I was a kid, MREs, my dad was in the military, and we had that stuff all over the house, man. And it was a treat. Oh, man. Okay, the memories. I'm just going down memory lane, just thinking about those MREs. When I was a kid in the military, I'm sure that they're all space age now. But back then, the Army, I'm sure it was the same across all of the military, but the Army had these little can openers, and they were like that long, this tall, flat, and then they unfolded and had this gnarly hook on it. It was the craziest, deadliest weapon ever. And then that went on the cans, and you open stuff up with that. And they were the craziest can openers, but they worked. But little tiny little things. And I'm wondering about those, if those are still around today. So, but anyway, yeah, MREs, when I was a kid, opening up those cans and digging in, it was awesome. And so there you go. All right, I've got a lot of breaking news I've got to get to. It's all very interesting stuff. And I don't know if you guys know about this, but earlier today, a ginormous solar flare erupted and is headed towards Earth. Scientists are keeping an eye on that sunspot. It fired off an X-class flare, and in the press release today, it said while having an identity crisis. All right, now all of this is according to spaceweather.com. Amplified aura displays are possible if a coronal mass ejection of charged particles emerges from the mixed up, and these are their words, quote, mixed up sunspot AR3006, which pointed its flaring blast toward Earth this morning at around 10 a.m. Eastern time. The flare was caught on camera by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory and spurred a radio emission alert by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, otherwise known as NOAA. Every time I see NOAA, I think of Dirk Pitt. Clive Cussler, amid a reported shortwave radio blackout in the Atlantic Ocean region. Yeah, nuts. And yeah, there it is. Thank you, Alexander. That's that little, see, look, that's that little, I'm going to retweet this right here. Alexander, that's going to get a retweet. That's an awesome tweet, my man. This is the deadly, this is the, I clicked on, did I click on? Yeah, I did. This is the deadly can opener I was just talking about. And check it out. I put it in the sandbox, hashtag F2B. But look at that little dude. You see that? And look at that razor sharp, gnarly. And look, opening up a can of fruitcake. But there you go. All right. I remember those fruitcakes. Okay. Astronomers have revealed the trails of nearly 1,500 new asteroids hidden in data gathered by NASA's Hubble Space Telescope. In a new study, astronomers and a team of amateur scientists have worked together to comb through archival data from the Hubble. The project began on International Asteroid Day back in 2019 when a team of astronomers launched the Hubble Asteroid Hunter Project on Zooniverse, popular platform for crowdsourcing science. The project's aim was to identify asteroids in old data from Hubble, signals that in other studies might have just been filtered out as noise. The team used observations captured by Hubble's ACS and WFC3 cameras from between April 30th, 2002 and March 14th, 2021. Within this data, the asteroid hunters combed through nearly 37,000 composite images. In more Hubble news, a newly released image from the Hubble shows the spiral of a galaxy called M99. It is one of the most incredible images I've seen, and I look at all the Hubble stuff when it comes out. This is incredible because on display are the galaxy's well-defined stellar arms that branch out from its yellow center. The new image, which the European Space Agency released back on May 2nd, is a result of two recent Hubble-led studies, one that I just mentioned. The M99, like the Milky Way, is a grand design galaxy, meaning that it has pronounced spiral arms. This category includes about 10% of all spiral galaxies. The glittering strands of M99 are located 42 million light years away from Earth. It's an incredible, incredible image. Well, check this out. Speaking about when I was a kid, I never had anything like this happen. But a 6-year-old boy has found a shark tooth belonging to a giant prehistoric megalodon that could be up to 20 million years old. His name, Sammy Shelton. He found the huge 4-inch. It's like this. It's giant. It looks bigger in his hands. Found the 4-inch tooth on Bawdsey Beach in Suffolk, United Kingdom during a bank holiday. It has been confirmed as belonging to a megalodon, the largest shark ever that has existed, and it's incredible. Found it walking on the beach. It's like it's huge. It's black. It's big. It's really cool. All right, where am I at? Man, that can opener has got me all. I'm just ruffled. And now, who posted? I can't keep up with who posted the image. Okay, Kaz. Why didn't your stuff pop up in F2B? That's really, really weird. Because she posted the image of the spiral galaxy. There it is. Okay, go to hashtag F2B for the sandbox. You can check it out. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to... Oh, what? Did I do that again? I'm not doing birthdays anymore. Did you notice that? I've streamlined the show, like my body, like I'm streamlining. Let's get this show cracking. On this day in history, OTD, 1877, 150 years ago, President Rutherford B. Hayes has the White House's first telephone installed in the mansion's telegraph room. The White House phone number was number 1. That's right. It would be 52 more years until President Herbert Hoover had the first telephone line installed at the president's desk in the Oval Office in the year 1929. 1877, they had telephones. That's nuts to me. Fader fact. All right. Now, I looked at these images today. I had to verify all of this. This is one of the craziest fader facts, and they're all crazy. But in 1925, William Randolph Hearst purchased the Spanish monastery, the Saint Bernard de Clairvaux, that was built in 1133 AD. He had it dismantled brick by brick and shipped it all to the United States in 11,000 crates. That's right. You should see the images. Now check this out. You can see it right now online because the crate stayed in a warehouse in New York for like 30 years. The monastery was sold off in an auction. Okay. The two guys that bought the monastery, the 11,000 crates, took it to Florida and rebuilt it. There it is. Thank you, Kaz. There it is right there. Look at that. Go to hashtag F2B. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. And you'll see it. Look at that. It's in Florida now. They rebuilt it. It's absolutely incredible. That's your Fader fact today. All right. Tonight, we welcome very special guest Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10 is here He doesn't give interviews often. He's here with us tonight. It's going to be a great conversation. Tomorrow night, it's Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio stopping by. We're going to do Bigfoot all night tomorrow night. Haven't done a Bigfoot show in a while. So there you go. And then Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. All right. Right now, I'm going to hit this River Moon coffee. Rivermoonwellness.com. The White House phone, Ken Priest. I know, right? That is pretty close. James Cummings says that he still has his can opener from Vietnam. Really? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. Where am I at? Man, I got to tell you, doing sit-ups like I did on Saturday, and here it is Tuesday, I can barely stand. It's got to end here soon. It's like I've rearranged my insides, man, my muscles, man. I can barely touch myself. They just, oof. Earlier today, I was like walking around going, I feel pretty good. I think this is over. No. Oh, man. All right. Well, the big announcement just happened. Oh, rivermoonwellness.com, Fade to Black Blend. All right. I posted this up today in Twitter and Facebook, and huge news. That is because Congress is about to hold the first open hearing about UFOs in 50 years when two Pentagon officials will testify about them, that is UFOs, next week on the 17th. The hearing's going to be held a week from today, May 17th, in front of a subcommittee of the House Intelligence Committee, which is chaired by Californian Representative Adam Schiff. Schiff said that the committee is holding this series to explore, and I'm quoting, one of the great mysteries of our time, and to break the cycle of excessive secrecy and speculation with truth and transparency. End quote. This is absolutely incredible news. Last night, okay, let me go back here for a second and read you the tweet that I posted today from and as this news broke, I was, I mean, I just couldn't believe what I was reading. And earlier today, Andre Carson, representative out of Indiana, tweeted this: Congress hasn't held a public hearing on unidentified aerial phenomena, then he says UFOs, in over 50 years. That will change next week when I lead a hearing in the House Intelligence on this topic and the national security risk it poses. Americans need to know more about these unexplained occurrences. That was his tweet, and that was 12 hours ago now. So he did that at 7 o'clock this morning, his time. And now it was 9 o'clock in the morning, his time. There's only 3,600 likes on this tweet. There is 844 retweets, though, and 188 quoted tweets. So this broke out far and wide. The New York Times did an article on it, and I picked up on it, and I saw the blurbs about this, and I got a couple of emails that came in last night during the show, and so I knew last night right after the show that this news was hopefully going to break today, and it was going to break big, and it did. Okay. This is huge news. And I do want to know what everybody thinks about this. And yeah, let me know in social media. And you can certainly send me email too as well. But I want to know what everybody thinks. Is this one step towards disclosure? This is a big, big, big deal. No word on who these two Pentagon officials are. Maybe that's out there. I haven't seen it yet. If you guys know who it is, let me know. But it's an open hearing. This is an open hearing. This is for the public. What is actually going to be said? Is it going to be more word salad? Is it going to be nothing? Or is this going to be significant? And is it one more step, right? One more step. I think it's pretty dramatic. I think it's a very big deal. But then the real weird stuff happened. Because after I read the emails last night, I made some popcorn, crawled into bed, and I watched episode 1 of the new Star Trek series, Strange New Worlds. Captain Pike, right? Okay, and so we got in Strange New Worlds. Now, this is significant, and spoiler alert, I'm going to give it away. I have to. Uhura is in this. It's like 10 years before, Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk's there. Spock is there. All youngsters. Pretty interesting. Pretty cool. Okay, but this is what happens. Another starship, not the Enterprise. It's another one. Pike is on the Enterprise. Encounters a planet that's got life on it. Okay. And then the crew isn't heard from again. And so Pike is pulled up. They have to shoot the Enterprise out right away and get over there, warp 2 and go and rescue the crew. So they head out. But that's not the crazy part. This sucked me in. The planet that the crew was in danger, that planet had not made contact yet. Okay? They haven't. And so they cut to the planet and they're showing their news. And the aliens on this planet, they look like humans, but they got a little crazy forehead with some spots on it and stuff, little pronounced brow. Other than that, they speak English. They look human. And so there's a newscaster. Breaking news. We are not alone in the universe. And then they show pictures of the flying saucer. It's a Star Trek Enterprise sister ship. And what this civilization is going through, they've made contact for the first time. And watching the reporters on the street and how people are reacting to this and how the politicians are reacting to it and what they are going through, it was a very interesting take. I have not seen this ever before in a TV series or a movie. And, the opposite, right? This is an alien world encountering E.T. for the first time, right? And E.T. is us. Very interesting. Now, so yes, spoiler alert, I just gave it away. But it caused me to just stop and think about what is happening in Congress next week with these open hearings and what we are going through right now. And Star Trek, which has always, going back to the original series, has always done social commentary. And where we are right now in whatever is going on in society, they spin it back around and they get it into the show. And they did it this time on Strange New Worlds. Now, this is on Paramount Plus, okay? So this is only episode 1. And, you don't get the full series. You got to wait once a week. Oh, and then I'm going to, so we have to wait next week for episode 2. But this is very clever how it is presented. And it was called General Order 1. Is that right, Ken? Thank you for that. Now, but okay. And now I wanted to say this in closing. So after that, I thought episode 2 was coming up. And it was Will Wheaton. And I'm just going to go on the record right now and say this. Maybe geeks get nerds get Will Wheaton. They understand this guy, but he's awful. And I went through with Star Trek Discovery. I was watching the Will Wheaton wrap-up shows there. And I just, after each one, my dislike, it's like an official dislike. It's like for real. It's like, it's a violent dislike. And I just couldn't watch it anymore. And I stopped because the characters in Discovery are so interesting, and watching the actors on the screen in these wrap-up shows was really cool. And Will just killed it for me. Killed it. And then last night, after Strange New Worlds, I thought it was episode 2, and it was Will Wheaton. And I have never turned off my TV faster. I couldn't find the remote quick enough. Will Wheaton. I don't get that dude, man. I don't get that dude. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here tonight, right here. Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10 is with us. The full show tonight with Tyler. Tomorrow night, it's Duke Sullivan of World Bigfoot Radio. And then Thursday's another Fader night with open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break with Tyler Glockner.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from Rivermoon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate, with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch, roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all Rivermoon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the unxnetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the unxnetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UnX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time. It's new. It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, right here, Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10 is back. We're going to be talking about what happens in the world of the biggest UFO channel on YouTube. It's going to be a great conversation tonight because Tyler, in just 10 years, has built Secureteam10 into one of the most popular YouTube channels with over 2 million subscribers. His channel was built for those who seek the latest alien and UFO-related videos, leaks, and information. From its humble beginnings as a mere idea back in 2011 to the establishment of what the channel is today, Secureteam10 has become the information source to which millions of answer-seeking individuals have come. Through thousands of videos posted, over 2 million subscribers, and over 1 billion total video views, his YouTube channel has broken the boundaries of traditional reporting and taken UFO research into the internet age. And it is no joke. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, the one and only Tyler Glockner. Tyler, my man, how you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
Oh, you don't have to say that, man. This is professional.
We always have problems when I'm on.
Yeah.
Things cut out and disconnect.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's all right, though, man. It's all right. It's going to be I want to let everybody know that, out of the gate that Tyler and I stay in touch. And I've always admired Secureteam10. And going back, I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but years ago, and I'm going back, it's got to be 7 or maybe 8 years ago, Tyler reached out to me with a direct message. He's like, "Hey, Church, man, reach out to me. We got to talk." And do you remember sending me that message?
I'm sure I did. I vaguely remember it. As you know, I've got some memory issues lately after something happened later on, but I'm sure I did message you like, "Hey, I was just reaching out, Yeah, I loved your stuff."
And that's what turned me on to Secureteam10. And back then, things were, still growing. And you had a lot of subscribers back then. It was 100,000 or 200,000, and I was watching that, and I responded back and then it took us a few years to kind of circle back and connect up and start doing things together. But did you have any idea, when you sent me that DM? That you would be where you are today with certainly the largest UFO-centered channel in all of YouTube. Did you see that coming?
No, and I tell people that ask me, they're like, They talked to me as if there was some sort of grand plan to create a YouTube channel based around UFOs and to build it into some large brand or something like that. But that wasn't the case. From the get-go, I got interested in UFOs from watching moon anomaly videos on YouTube and just as a hobby. As you stated in your introduction, I just started posting my own videos about the subject, and it kind of started getting a following out of nowhere, and then it really started to grow, and I was like, "What is happening?" Like, this was a hobby, and, it was amazing. It was amazing, the love and support, and it became what it became. It wasn't planned.
And it must have been an amazing ride. And to me, there was this mystery behind you because you were, because I follow everything and I'm trying to watch the latest videos and see what's going on out there. And I kept going back to Secure Team, going, man, this Tyler dude, he's got the stuff. And I always liked your comments about what you were looking at, but there was a mystery behind you. And then I met you in Los Angeles, right? We hung out, and I'm like, you're just a normal guy, But
Just a nobody.
but is it the name Secureteam10? Is that what it is? Where I'm just a nobody. You're just a normal guy. That the mystery about Secureteam10, and is it some establishment thing, and is there something else going on? Is that what it is? Because you're just normal like the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, you've known me for almost a decade, or maybe a little bit less, but
yeah,
I'm a normal guy, and when it blew up, I don't. People said that they liked the way I narrated or the way I edited, but I just presented it how I felt it should be presented, and I'm not a CIA shill or anything like that. This isn't some program from some clandestine CIA black site. I'm just a normal guy, and it blew up, and so I was like, okay, I'm onto something here. I really love this topic, so I'm gonna roll with it, see what happens.
I remember, and I love this. Then we're going to move on to today's event. But this was a long time ago. You and I were talking on the phone. I said, man, what's your studio like? And you go, dude, I do it on my coffee table. I've got a laptop on my coffee. I was like, really? And you said, Jimmy, I'm just one guy doing this by myself. And I was picturing, a staff and a team. And you're like, no, man, I find these videos, I edit them myself, I do everything. This is a one-man operation. And is it still the same?
I've got a little bit better equipment since then. But yeah, I did start out with a basic laptop, cheap laptop, and a $40 USB microphone I bought off Amazon, and that's what I did. And and I've always been like a laptop addict. So, as time went on, I got better laptops, and then finally transitioned to better mics, a desktop, and all the microphone equipment I needed, so I could actually afford it. And it was a really strange thing. It went from a hobby to a career where kind of YouTube was paying me to put out free videos about a topic I loved. It's really like a dream type situation. And so, yeah, it's still on me. I'm a one-man show. Secure Team at the time, I don't know why I chose it. I can't remember why I chose that name, but there is no team. I assure you, it's just me.
Right.
And I would have to say the team is the whole UFO community who has helped me out from day one, sending me things. Just great people, great friends, and great supporters. But as far as the channel, I run it. I maybe have a couple of researchers who send me stuff, but I edit. I mean, I do it all, and I think that kind of goes to my sort of perfectionist type of mindset. That's just how I am. So,
yeah, right. You're in control. and you own you make the decisions. And I think that is always important, because you get somebody else involved, or a partner, or this and that, and suddenly your vision and your creative control it is let go.
Yeah,
And
it always goes sideways.
Yeah.
Especially when I know you and me are both alike in a lot of ways. It's our baby. We created it from the ground up. I didn't have anyone help me to grow the channel. I didn't ask for anyone's help. I built it from the ground up. And when you start to bring in other people and they want to change things, it really never ends well. So,
it doesn't work. It
I'm
doesn't
a control freak.
And speaking about that, before we get to UFOs, there is something to be said about keeping your foot on the gas and not stopping. Today, so many YouTube creators, whether they're doing unboxing videos, or it's toys, or guitars, whatever it is, they want instant fame. They want to be a influencer, right? They that all they have to do is get a USB microphone from Amazon and go. And suddenly in a month they're going to be this huge thing. That's not how it happens.
If they're lucky. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It can, lightning can strike. I think it struck with my channel, but I think a lot of hard work went into it. And YouTube has it's changed a lot since its heyday, whether we're talking about the algorithm or the type of content, and there's just so many more UFO channels out there. But there's this idea that everyone wants to be a YouTuber or an influencer. And my son, he's 15 years old, and I tell, he wants to kind of follow in my footsteps, and I tell him, you don't want none of this, son. You're doing something else. I'm not letting you near it, because people don't understand, when you have a huge following, there's a huge, component, emotional component from stress and all that. And, but to your question, it's a dream that people have, but once they think they're going to become something overnight, they quickly learn that's not the case at all.
Yep. When I let people know how much work I do, right, day in and day out, how much work you put in, how many years, right? That's Secureteam10 just didn't fall out of the sky. Fade to Black didn't just fall out of the sky. This is years and years and years of hard work. And every single day, the only person that is keeping things running is you, right? You can't, that's it. It's a lot of hard work. Now, let's get to UFOs. I just made the announcement today. I put it out in social media. New York Times and other media outlets started to break this story today. And that is, next week in Washington, D.C., for the first time in 50 years, there are going to be open public hearings with the Senate Intelligence Committee about UFOs. 2 Pentagon officials are going to testify about UFOs. Whoa, right? Now, you've been doing Secureteam10 for 10 years. Did you ever imagine that we are about to have open hearings on Capitol Hill?
I mean, we've had them before. I mean, a lot of people think that I'm, for some reason, a lot younger than I am, or more inexperienced. I mean, I'm about to be 36. And so, I was born in the 80s. I've been following this stuff since it was just, the only time you'd see anything of it was on the X-Files in 1995, or barely when in the 2000s, when the internet took off. And, I have a lot of knowledge, and I've watched this stuff happen over the years. And, how many times have we had the government, it goes back to the recent, what has it been, 2-3 years since the Pentagon so-called released footage of really things that we didn't know what they were, and some of them looked like they could have been easily natural. And I just don't have a lot of faith in the government. Being a UFO, whether you want to call me a researcher or a hobbyist, whatever, I've always, I've grown a cynical attitude toward the government. So, and that cynical attitude was apparent when in 2017 and 18, when the Pentagon was set to release and tell us, do they exist? Do they not exist? And then they came out with this 5, 6, 7 page document full of nothing. And I told people it would happen. They didn't believe me. They called me a hater, and it happened. So all I can say is the government does what it does best, which is keeping secrets. And they've done that for 80 plus years. So if something comes out of this, it'll be amazing. So, I'm waiting to see what happens when this committee gets together.
Looking at the quotes that came out today from the Senate Intelligence Committee, that it's about time that the public gets exposed to this phenomenon. Like, what? Okay, so they really wouldn't be. Now, I'm just as skeptical and objective when it comes to the government, and certainly when it comes to the government and UFOs. No question about it. Doesn't matter what administration is in there. But for them to make it about this and not about adversarial objects, that this could be Russia, this could be China, this could be Israel, whoever, could be Canada. And they're not saying that. They are saying that something unexplained is going on, and UFOs were in the tweet today. UFOs, right? And not UAPs. UFOs means one thing and one thing only, right? This is a pop culture term.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm expecting something a little bit different this time, and I'm hopeful. Do you expect the worst and then take what happens? I'm thinking.
I think the best analysis of what of what will happen in the future is to look at what has happened in the past. So you look at the government. What have they done in the past? What have they revealed to us thus far? And that gives you an idea. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So, I know for a fact that there are senators and congressmen who really want to know the answers. And if they get a chance to grill some of these Pentagon officials or whoever, I'm sure they'll grill them, because I know that they want to know. But at the end of the day, the real sort of secret black government, it doesn't have to tell you anything. So, at the very minimum, they said that they think the public should be exposed to this. We've been exposed to it for 20 years now and more. When YouTube grew, we got even more exposed to it from the work you've done, from the thousands of videos I've posted that have featured thousands of pieces of footage and amazing things. So we're already exposed. So I don't understand why they would word it that way. But like I said, we'll see. That's all I can say. But I'll be reporting on it, giving my thoughts on it. I hope, but I already know.
Well, like I said, I think we all know too, but you never know. Last year with the UAP task force report, that came out in June 25th last year, the hype that was, the media was building up with that. And I was right there. I took it hook, line, and sinker. And I was hopeful. And then, it was a big dud. And I poured over that report, all 16 pages, looking for the little nuggets that were in there. But we got what we probably thought was coming, which was a lot of word salad and nothing much was said.
No.
Did you feel the same way last year when the UAP task force report came out and you read it and you're like, well,
Yeah, I mean, I was saying it on Twitter and all of the social media accounts I have linked with Secure Team. I said it from the moment I heard it. My cynical type mindset was like, my BS meter was going off. And I let people know in my videos and on social media, I said, this is going to happen. I said, I'm hoping for the best, but, you know, I'd bet money it's going to be nothing like it always is. Like I said, it's been 20 years. It the government is just it does what all it knows is secrecy, and and this is the type of information that's many would agree that's even above the president's pay grade. So I don't see why, and probably they don't see why they should have a reason to tell us about it, let alone the president. So
Well, and now here's the thing, and you bring up a really good point that social media and those out there that have a voice, like yourself, have the ability to get this information to the public unfiltered. We don't have to worry about the government giving us information. But the information that the Senate Intelligence Committee is collecting is coming from the Pentagon. It's coming from the Department of Defense. And we've got 2 Pentagon officials that are going to be answering questions in this open hearing. That's not coming from citizens. They're not hearing from you and I and the people on the street that have had sightings. I mean, I would love for somebody on the Senate Intelligence Committee, go at the Pentagon with, oh, yeah? Well, did you see the video last week on Secureteam10? Right? Explain that to me.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? They're not hearing from the rest of the country. They're only hearing from the military, right?
Yeah, and to go back, and I don't think I actually answered one of your questions earlier, which was that they're kind of going with this UFO angle instead of it possibly being Chinese drones, Russian drones, what have you, and I think that is something that the government has done before, where they have masked what's happening as some sort of off-world alien thing, when the likelihood in some cases is it's likely a drone from China, and they don't want Americans to know what's happening or to spark fear in Americans. So they develop this sort of this UFO thing. But I also think the government is just very smart. I think they drip feed us stuff that's real. And then they, when it's not alien, it's a Chinese drone flying over, Colorado, they say, alien activity. So it gets everyone's wires crossed. So they don't know what to believe, what's going on. And as to if they asked, did you see what Tyler just posted on Secure Team? I'm not sure how much weight that would hold. With what I've gone through and the amount of scorn, there's something out there that somehow I went from the number one researcher, revealer, whatever, of UFO activity to no credibility, something like that. And I some strange that some strange things have happened to me over the years, and but I'm still the same Tyler I was, and I get out the best material I can, and I don't post stuff just to get clicks, like some channels who post a video every day. Sometimes I'll wait 10, 12 days in between posting a video because I want to get the best footage, and I've seen it for 10 years. So if I know it's a flare or a bug flying across the screen, I'm not going to post it. So, I feel that I post the best footage, and I'm doing the best I can, like I always have. So
now, when we come back after the break, I'm going to follow up with this next question, which is, have you had your own sighting?
Yeah, I actually have. Yeah.
And what'd you say? What happened?
I think that in my subconscious, in my psyche, I think that's what later down the road, when I got older, maybe got me into pursuing this topic more. But it was just your basic type. I was like 11 years old. We lived in an apartment complex, and I had seen what looked like some sort of shiny metallic object. And this is back in 1997 or so. And we went and I grabbed my mom's big shoulder VHS tape recorder. And I'm sitting there and it's nighttime. I'm trying to record this thing, but it was the first time I had seen something strange that even as a kid, I knew wasn't a plane. We didn't have drones back then. And it sparked something right back here that would later in life turn into something much bigger.
Where's that videotape today, man?
I've been trying to find it for years. Ever since Secure Team blew up, I've been telling people about this, and I'm like, I'm going through boxes, and
you got the ultimate Secureteam10 video, and you can't find it.
It wasn't nothing. It was a blurry VHS wavy lined dot, but still it was strange, and that's all it takes to get one to go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. How long did this sighting last?
It lasted, as I remember, a while, because it got to the point where I couldn't stand anymore holding this giant VHS tape recorder, and I had to lay down on my back on the sidewalk in front of the apartment and just lay back with the thing pointing, and it's trying to focus on it. And it lasted for a good half hour until the thing just kind of went into the darkness. So I don't know what it was, but like I said, it put a little needle right back there.
Sure.
So
wow, that's a Class A sighting. So this was during the day.
Well, it was like 9:30 at night. How all apartment complexes have swimming pools, most of them.
Right.
So I'm 11 years old. Me and my friends are swimming. My mom runs from the apartment to the swimming pool, says, "Tyler, there's something in the sky over here." So me and my friends are going crazy, wanting to know what it is. So we rush over. We're all wet in our swimming trunks, and I'm like, "Give me the recorder," and I'll record it. And she's pointing at it. So then I start recording. It's in the dark, but it was lit. Like I could see. It looked like if I was looking up at a metallic saucer from the bottom up, and I could see light shining off of it. And it just sort of sat there. And it was like a half an hour until the VHS tape ran out. And that was it. And I've been looking for that tape since. But it was definitely strange. And at that time, I didn't know anything really about UFOs. I was just a kid.
Wow, that's incredible. That's a Class A sighting, man. That's a Class A sighting. We got to take a break right here. Let's get that in. Our guest tonight, Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. More with Tyler when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hi, Race Hobbs with the X. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you have an interest in unexplained phenomena like ghosts, Bigfoot, and UFOs. And by now, you know that we have our own X blog, the UnX newsletter, and the UnX magazine quarterly. But most of you don't know that we have started our very own Paranormal Conference. And this year, for safety, this 2-day X-Con will be virtual, so you can attend from the comfort of your home. X-Con presenters include Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, Margie Kay and Preston Dennett, Lisa Martin and Wayne Lawrence, Lee Spiegel, Debbie Zagelmeyer, Dan Terry, Kate Grabowski, and Ray Hernandez. There will also be a live paranormal investigation by the Riverside, Iowa Paranormal Team. So come hang out with us in the safety of home as we set out to explain the unexplained Friday, May 13th and Saturday the 14th, 2022. And tickets are on sale now. Go to unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Race Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church, The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright-Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10 is here. Tomorrow night, it's Duke Sullivan, World Bigfoot Radio. And then Thursday night is, of course, open lines all night long. And there you go. And Thursday night tends to be my favorite night of the week, except for Tuesdays when I have on Tyler Glockner. And now I've got to know, Tyler, I do a lot of research, and it's tough to get to the good stuff. How do you get to the good stuff?
The viewers, most of the time, like any UFO YouTube channel or researcher, I do my own research. I go to UFO Reddit. I go search YouTube for and using their filtered results, see of any new UFO footage that's just been uploaded, and talk to them and see if I can feature it. And but I have a huge amount of footage. I really have probably the holy grail of alien or UFO footage, because in just one of my emails linked to the channel that I've had for years now, almost since the beginning, it has like 390,000 emails in just that inbox, and they come in at such a high rate. It's like 300 to 500 emails a day that I can't keep up, and so much footage and imagery. And so I'm sure that, you know, 3 years ago, someone sent me literally the holy grail of UFO footage, and I just haven't gotten to it yet because, again, I'm stubborn. Don't need help from anybody, even though I do, even to check emails. But, you know, it's like as soon as you send something to me, within a few minutes, it's 5 pages back.
Right.
And it takes me a while to go through them all. But that is one thing I'm looking to get help with. You know, I might bring my wife or someone in, but you know, it's the viewers that have sent in their footage, and they have provided for me and the world some just amazing imagery and video, you know, but it's a mix. Sometimes things, you got to dig up some stuff, you know. Now, sometimes I like to do videos on incidents that people don't know about. So it's a mixture, but I would have to say the community at large is the number one, you know, that really gives me the stuff I need to run the channel, you know, because they're seeing this stuff, they're capturing it.
Right. What do you ultimately? What do you think is going on? I want to get inside of your head. I have my own thoughts about this, and what do you think is going on? Is it? And let me phrase it this way: with the amount of planets that are just in our Milky Way, the latest estimates are 40 to 50 billion Earth-like rocky planets with water in the Goldilocks zone, just in our Milky Way. So that would suggest 100 or 200,000 advanced civilizations out there. And so what do you think is going on here? Is it a bunch of different types of alien races visiting us? Because no two videos are exactly the same. Some are, and I always find that interesting when you have a sighting on one side of the planet and it's the same, nearly identical on the other side, or even a couple of years apart, right? Where you look and you go, wow, that looks similar. What do you think is going on? Who is visiting us?
Oh man, we're going to need a few interviews to answer that question. But again, I think it's a combination. You know, science has proven, at least it's said that it's proven, like you just said, that there's an endless amount just in our Milky Way, and you know, then you have billions of more galaxies. Then you have the fact that there are potentially an endless amount of dimensions sitting right on top of ours, where these things will just jump out into our dimension and then jump back into theirs, where we just can't see them. You know, I definitely think we are being visited. You know, one of my favorite topics is the Black Knight satellite, you know, theory and story that, you know, these aliens have been watching us since we were cavemen and before that, and possibly created us to begin with, and have been monitoring us. You know, but I think that some of the things maybe we've seen as of late are governmental craft that have been created, maybe back engineered from alien material. But I do think that we're being visited from other planets, potentially other galaxies, whether they're traveling through wormholes or what have you. You know, with physics, especially quantum physics, you can do anything. But you know, I think we've shown on the channel that there are things here that are right there, but you can't see them unless you record them in ultraviolet or infrared. They're just on different wavelengths. So I think they're coming from everywhere. Oumuamua, a great example, that pencil-shaped object that came through our solar system from interstellar space, and it was nothing like we'd ever seen before. The Harvard scientists said that it showed all the signs of being an alien vehicle using our sun to slingshot itself back out into space. So, you know, a mixture, you know, I would say.
We are releasing our Black Knight movie on June 3rd. It just popped up here in the chat. And I've been researching Black Knight for a long time. I mean, I can't remember the first time I had heard about it, but it was 20, 25 years ago. And then the images came out. I have found out more about the Black Knight satellite in the last couple of years than I have accumulated over the last 30 or 40. But I'll say this. As NASA's images of the Black Knight popped up on their own website, people started talking about it. They pulled the images down, right?
Yeah, and then they tried to say it was a space blanket and this and that, which it may very well have been. However, every story or rumors, they start somewhere, and more than not, they include a hint of truth. So whether those images from the shuttle or whatever that was is indeed the Black Knight, the story didn't just appear out of thin air. There were people that found it on radar, were tracking it, and it was changing position to the point where they lost it. So there's something there, just because we don't have all the data, and just because the internet didn't exist like it does today back in the 40s or 50s does not make it that it, does not mean it didn't happen or that it's been debunked. A lot of people today that I'm finding on YouTube, they claim to be UFO researchers and they want the truth and they believe in it, but it seems that all they do is spend their time debunking it and trying to say that it's either our government or it's just something natural, a drone, a bird, a flare, what have you, just like the government has used for years, the flare or the weather balloon. So
yeah, you're right about
so
that.
much to think of. I just lost my train of thought. Like I'm thinking,
but you're right. And the Black Knight satellite didn't reveal itself with those NASA images. It did not. Back before we had launched anything into space, it was already being tracked and watched.
Right.
And it was there were some signals that were emitted and decoded over the years, and which go back to the 1920s. And Tesla thought that he was detecting stuff too as well. But putting that to the side,
and that's just that we know of.
That's right. That's exactly right. So before Sputnik, we started tracking something in a polar orbit, not around the equator, which is where most satellites are, but in a polar orbit. And then when Sputnik launched, and everybody's tracking Sputnik and they're watching it, right? And Sputnik wasn't up very high, and you could see it, but. So we're tracking that, and while we're tracking that, with this other satellite pops up in a polar orbit, and that technology for us in the United States and the Soviet Union didn't happen for another 10 or 15 years. Right. But yet this object was already up there. So the Black Knight satellite is a pretty fascinating subject, and one that once you start to do the deep dive, I'm in agreement with you.
It's just one example.
Yeah. They've been observing us for a long time. Why not? This is a beautiful planet.
I think the evidence is indisputable. That's why after I was gone for a year, almost passed away, and I came back and I, upgraded the logo, and I, in my original intro, I had a little flash of text in my intro that said disclosure is coming. And once I came back, I changed it to disclosure is here, because I don't need the government's gold stamp of approval to tell me that these things exist, because just on my channel alone, the evidence is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And then you add you and every other channel or entity that has researched the subject. So, we know they're there, and people have a tendency to not believe it fully until they have that government stamp of approval on it. But, that's what the government wants you to do,
That's right. That's right. And there's so much out there that is, I feel it's disinformation, but also hoaxed videos. You go through TikTok, you go through Instagram, and you look at these chats that have a lot of views on these. I was watching this video today. I laughed so hard. It just popped up in my feed, right? And I stopped. And it's this obvious CG clear triangle, TR3B, but you can see through it like Wonder Woman's airplane. And so they say, man, check out this UFO, man. Come here, man. Look. And I'm watching the video. Like, now people are watching this. Is somebody believing what they're seeing, or is it just entertainment? And then you look at you look at the views, and you're like, how does something like this have 1 million views? Now, and there's a famous quote, no matter what you want to make up in your imagination, there's somebody out there that's going to believe it. Right?
Yeah, sucker born every day type of thing. Yeah,
Sure.
and I get that. And TikTok is a whole different monster than YouTube. I think YouTube is definitely more serious than TikTok. I mean, how much information and how serious or notable can you really be within 30 to 60 seconds? And they do get huge views because they look like legit, clear footage, and that's the quandary that I have noticed has occurred over the last 3 or 4 years or so, is that it's almost like people have been conditioned to where unless the footage is grainy, if it's perfectly clear, it's almost like they just automatically don't believe it. It has to be hoaxed. How could we ever get a clear shot of a UFO? And you can't think like that, because I think that's what the powers that be want you to think, that if it's perfectly clear and it looks too good to be true, it must be. That's not the case. There's been plenty of footage out there dating back to the early days of the channel that is 100% legit. It's not some blurry dot out in the distance, and it's pretty damn cool, and it's not fake. So it favors the government that people have this mindset now where if it's not a blurry something in the distance, it's got to be fake. And these TikTokers, they add to that mindset. And I don't know, I'm sure there's a governmental component to it where they have bots out there, putting out videos, and
100% for
the
sure.
algorithms changed on me overnight to where you'd search UFO on YouTube and my name would pop up along with 20 of my videos, top search results. And then right as the Pentagon hearings and the UAP report came out, YouTube just did a 180, changed their algorithm to where you search UFO and it's nothing but CNN, Fox News. You'd be lucky to find me 20 pages back. So I think there's been a coordinated effort to veer people's views on UFOs in a certain direction. And I've seen it. It's happened. I can see it in the analytics and the algorithm. They saw that people around 2017 were getting so into the UFO phenomenon, they had to change things to veer people in the direction they wanted it. And that's what they did.
Right. And when you look at, going back to like TikTok or Instagram, even YouTube, or Facebook, that the amount of clicks that are on these obviously CGI fake videos, that there is a huge interest in the public in this subject. And that's what that demonstrates to me, that the public wants to see this stuff, and they are going to stop and look at one of those videos. Now, most are going to go, yeah, whatever, but they still watch, and the clicks are there. So the interest is there. The public wants to know, right?
It's a double-edged sword. Yeah, it definitely, any bad publicity is good. Any publicity is good publicity. So if we can get more people to look into the UFO phenomenon, even if it's by them seeing obvious CGI, UFO made in After Effects or something like that, at least they're into it, and hopefully they can find a channel like mine, or at least a channel or a website or a radio show that has some tenure and some credibility, whether, some people want to say so or not, the numbers don't lie, and hopefully they'll find a source that provides them legit information and footage. But yeah, any publicity of this phenomenon is good. Yeah.
I remember, you might remember this. This is a few years ago. TMZ post this video of this UFO off of the 101 freeway here in Southern California, right? And I look at them, I'm like, whoa, okay, it's TMZ. So they've got to be at least looking into this a little bit. So I'm looking at the video. I post it. I grabbed some screen grabs and I posted, and I was like, what does everybody think about this? And TMZ got a lot of movement. The media picked up on the story and so forth. And then one of the Fadernauts out there said, that's the speedometer from the car. It's and then I took another look, and sure enough, it's the reflection in the car window, and it's the speedometer because speedometer.
It's a common occurrence,
right? And then by the end of the day, we got the make and the model of the car, right? There's a lot of smart people out there that can break down a speedometer and figure things out. That happens a lot, right? The reflections in the car windows.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why people will assume, since I've come back and, I've taken my time. I was gone for a year, and there's people, I've been back almost a year now after taking a year off and going through what I went through, who are still finding 10 months into me posting again that I'm back. And, there's been people that have questioned whether my heart is really in this anymore or not. And because I'm not posting a video every single day, and it's not that at all. It's that I have pretty much posted on every single incident, UFO occurrence incident, all the way back to the 1920s, the very first UFO photographs ever taken. And I've covered so much that now I'm just pretty much covering UFO footage. And yeah, so many people will send in images and footage, and they'll believe that they captured something extraordinary. But when you develop the eagle eye of 10 years of looking at footage, you can automatically, kind of discern that this is a reflection. I've seen this before. This is a bug being lit up by the camera on the front porch of the house. This is a flare, and people truly want to believe it, and it kind of saddens me. I have to break their heart and email them back and tell them what it is and what it likely is, because they thought they caught something. But, these things happen, and sometimes you see strange stuff and you don't know what it is. And the best thing to do is get it to someone who maybe knows what it is, but it's definitely a common thing,
Yeah, I so look forward when I hear Tyler's voice in the voiceover. Okay, check out this video that was just sent to me. And I know that if it's gone through the filter process, right, that if the video is now being posted, then that discernment of yours, the squinty eyes, right, have processed this video. And by the time it gets to your YouTube channel, you feel that this is something pretty legit. And it does catch my attention.
Yeah. I mean, I do, to the best of my ability, I analyze footage. I look if there's any background information on it. If it's something truly crazy and like gnarly, I look to see, okay, other people had to have filmed this. So is there footage of this from other people? Otherwise, that's a good indicator it's a hoax. Over the years, I think some haters and rival channels or just people wanting to have fun have sent me really good CGI clips to test, maybe even fans of the channel just to test to see if I would upload it. But you just develop an eye over almost a decade. And yeah, I mean, I do my checks. And if there's certain pieces of footage where I don't have the full picture, but it looks to me that it's worth posting to get my viewers' idea, and I always leave with them, tell me what you guys think, then I'll post it, but I have a pretty good eye.
Yeah. And before we get to the break, Disclosure, I like that, right? Disclosure is coming. Disclosure is here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it here? Do you think that we're taking one step closer, and that maybe 2022 is the big one?
I don't know. Every year that Planet X is supposed to bash into ours and end humanity. Every year is the year, but I think what the government and those who wanted to keep this phenomenon a secret, they didn't count on the internet becoming what it did and allowing people to release this footage and get it up there. And like I said, I think it's definitely here, especially within the last 5 to 10 years with YouTube and TikTok, and channels like mine, where I've just dedicated my blood, sweat, and tears into this stuff until it's almost driven me mad to get this information out. So I definitely think it's been disclosed. I think it's common knowledge that this phenomenon exists, regardless of whether the government wants to tap dance around it. We know it's real. We know. So disclosure in the sense of we know. Yes, I believe it's come. And like I said, I don't require a stamp from Uncle Sam. I've seen enough. So.
Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, the one and only Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. More with Tyler when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poran Key, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org. Do you want to be an official Fade or not? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Fadernauts, when you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Tyler Glockner is with us. Secureteam10. And I don't think Tyler does too many interviews. Tyler, is this like your... Whoa, you're coming in hot. You're coming in hot. Okay, no, you're fine. Don't touch it. No, I got you here.
We good?
Oh, man. Okay, you did turn it up.
No, I turned it down.
Okay.
How's that? Better.
I got it on this end, Tyler. Don't touch anything. I got it. And that, well, what was the question? Now I forgot my question. What was my question? See what you did? You threw me off. You threw
my bad, man.
Okay. All right. Back to focus.
You were telling me how handsome I was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And I love the hat, by the way. Show everybody your necklace.
Oh, this is my it's after I almost passed away last year. I'm a saver. I don't buy much, but I bought this. It's a white gold and gemstone flying saucer studded necklace. So I'll try to get up to the camera there for you.
Yeah, right on. Let's see. Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, right on. Yeah. We got it.
So it's a symbol of me coming back to the channel. I was like, damn it, I want to do something good for myself for once, and I'm not really into bling, but I wanted to have something that symbolized something that almost killed me.
Yeah, that's not bling when it's it's just something that you like. It's not bling. It's bling. Here, let me show you what bling is.
It's a little bit, but yeah, not too much.
This is what I wear around the studio. You ready? And I've got it on a chain. I've got two. Okay, you ready? This is bling.
Yeah.
Right. That's bling. I wear this around the house when I'm vacuuming. I put that on. And here's another one. Check this out, man. That's bling.
Yeah, I didn't want to look like I was in a rap video. Just a little bit, a little sparkle.
I wear this baby.
You earned it.
I wear this when I go to Home Depot. I walk in. So
DJ Jimmy.
Totally, man. Okay. Let's talk about black triangles. And we were talking about, these CG videos earlier, and I'll never forget when Tom DeLonge went on Joe Rogan, right? And he's got to pull up the most authentic video that he's ever seen, and he pulls up this obviously, and even Rogan, his reaction, right, rolling his eyes. And I didn't dig the way Rogan reacted. He kind of went over the top with it. But DeLong thought that was the most authentic video he had ever seen. And people believe what they're going to want to believe, right? That cognitive dissonance, and they got the blinders on. Black triangles. Do you get those videos sent to you?
Yeah, all the time. I've done videos on them since we were below 100,000 subscribers. And I too remember that the Rogan interview, which was hilarious. That clip, for any even just barely seasoned UFO researcher or investigator, has seen that clip many times. And
right.
And for a guy creating a company and trying to collect millions, and did collect millions, in investments, you would think he would know how to discern a well-known piece of CGI UFO footage when he's creating a company such as he did, which I believe has filed for bankruptcy. But that's all I'll say on that. I think Joe noticed it, and but as for the real triangles, I've been getting them. Triangles are like discs and saucers. They're one of the main seen types of UFO shape-wise.
Now, what do you think that technology is? Do you think it's ET, or do you think it's ours? It's the Air Force?
Well, at the end of the day, since the beginning, all I can do is speculate, and take info from people I've interviewed, viewers that have messaged me, pilots, pilots who I didn't even make videos about because they told me not to, because they didn't want to lose their job, who had seen these things. And of course, everyone knows about, or most people know about, TR-3Bs and how it was allegedly a craft that the government was working on in the late 80s, and that they abruptly stopped working on, or it didn't work out, that included back engineered alien tech. But yeah, I think that the alien version came first, and then we possibly got our hands on some tech and tried to reproduce it. We may have successfully, but I think the alien version came first. I know that the U.S. government has worked on triangular craft, and we've created triangular craft, but certainly nothing that works with anti-gravity or anything like that, to my knowledge.
Right. You bring up a good point. It could be both.
Yeah.
It could be both. And I live, Tyler, a couple of miles away. Literally, when I say a couple of miles, it's next to my house is Lockheed Skunk Works, and all of the other crazy companies are out there developing some pretty nutty stuff. And then 8 miles away from me is Edwards Air Force Base. So I watch these planes take off every day, these huge cargo planes, and they don't even get up in the sky. They just take a turn and they go over and they land at Edwards, right? Mm-hmm. So they're picking up something and then taking it over to Edwards. But here's the crazy part with that. I haven't seen a black triangle yet. I'm expecting, right, to walk outside one day and go, holy crap, right? But I haven't seen it yet. But I think eventually something crazy is going to happen. I've seen other stuff that I can't explain, but specifically like a black triangle over Lockheed Skunk Works, I haven't seen it yet.
I think that's probably because we're just well beyond that. We came out with the the triangular craft that was an amazement, and we knew that it was the governments that had the anti-radar technology. I can't think of the name of it off the
You're
top of my head.
talking the 117, the stealth fighter, and the B-2 bomber.
Yeah, that's it. And so, I definitely think that they probably did create a triangular version of whatever they did, whether it had alien tech that they had reverse engineered or not, but I just feel like, you know, they're past that, and that old saying that wherever we are now, technology wise, with the government or the Air Force or whoever, it's, you know, we're really 50 years ahead than what we
Yeah.
have. So it's probably to the point where they have the technology just to completely cloak whatever they have in whatever shape. You know, the possibilities are endless, you know. So.
I just got the press release last week that the B-21, the new version, right, of the B-2, the B-21 is ready to go, and they're going to start flight testing. Like, they've got air in the tires kind of thing. They're ready to go. And I cannot wait. It's going to happen, and it's going to fly right over my house. And I'm going to try to get out there with some press credentials and see if I can get in and see this thing roll out of the hangar. But that's getting ready to happen. This is one of the things, as this goes through flight testing, this is what causes an uptick in UFO sightings, right? Is something like that flying around, and people see it for the first time and they freak out. And I'm sure that the original 117, the little triangle stealth fighter, when that thing was in flight testing, people must have lost their minds. You know, what the heck is that?
I mean, yeah, I envy you. You know, I wish I lived. I mean, I'm in Ohio, but I'm right near Columbus. But you know, I get so many emails, and I'm not, I don't know, hour away or maybe a little more, maybe a little less from Dayton and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which you know, I constantly get emails from viewers who live around there. You know, and Wright-Patterson has been called the true Area 51 and the place where they took the Roswell wreckage, and that Area 51 is just a diversion. You know, it's especially today, it's become just a place where people can go and, you know, take pictures, and that Wright-Patterson has some real crazy stuff going on there. You know, I wish I lived close to it so I can maybe get some footage. That'd be awesome.
Man, sitting on my back porch. Right. I've got binoculars sitting there. I've got my night vision.
Yeah, your infrared up, your ultraviolet.
Yeah, I'm ready. I've seen some crazy things. And I'm on the air every night, and I just can't come on the air. They know I live here, right? They know, hey, if they're doing their jobs, they know everything. But I can't come on the air and go, this is what I saw today. That's uncool, you know, but it's pretty interesting to see the action that is going on there. It's not inactive. Now, okay, so that's the Black Triangle side of things. What are the other trends? I need to hear this from you, because
Ukraine is something I've been posting on a lot lately, and a lot that you know, my viewers have been wanting me to post more on, and you know, I've been following the Ukrainian conflict with Russia since the beginning, and the UFO aspect to it, and I've posted, especially recently, as just a couple of videos back, some amazing footage. That there's definitely what seems to be, in my mind, some major UFO activity, you know, just as it was back to the 50s, where these things would appear and disable nuclear warheads, you know, make missiles veer off course, you know, into the dirt somewhere. And, you know, they're some people call them the watchers. You know, they watch, but they some think they intervene, sometimes they don't. But I've published some pretty interesting imagery and footage captured out of Ukraine, of triangles, of white glowing lights, of things that look like crosses or plus signs just sitting in the sky. In one of my last videos, I published some. I mean, it was mind blowing to me after everything I've seen of footage that went from daytime to nighttime, of this glowing sort of orangey white, just glowing orb in the sky over, I believe it was the Black Sea. It was Ukraine. So, and you could see tracer rounds being fired at this thing from day to night. This person filmed it from day to night. So it wasn't the sun, it was the moon. it didn't change its position at all. And then at night, you could see him firing these tracer rounds. For those of you who don't know, some bullets, in the military, they fire tracer rounds, which emit light.
Yeah, every 10 rounds,
And they'd be going directly. It was a far out shot. So
Right.
this thing was miles away, but it was bright. And then off on an island to the left, you could see these tracer rounds and then it went from daytime and then nighttime footage of them still just hitting this thing. It's just sitting still. And then at one point at night, it just turns off like a light. I mean, just the most crazy footage I've ever seen.
I just posted this. This is from, I guess, Dr. Unit. Why would Jimmy not tell what he sees in the sky? Because I don't want to visit, right? I don't want to visit. I don't want somebody coming up and knocking on my door going, okay, man, enough is enough, and that's why. And some things need to be secret, right?
Especially the times we're living in now.
Yeah. I can't, man. It's just uncool. We've got men and women working really hard on this technology, and then you get some doofus like myself. Okay, here's the footage I shot today. Check this out. That's no, that's not cool. And then the next thing you know, the Ruskies are watching Fade to Black to see what I'm about to report on. I'm not going to be that guy. And no.
If it puts American lives in danger, I totally get that. But yeah. I mean, look, you're well known just like I am, and you're going to get a knock someday, eventually, just like I will.
It's going to happen. I was check this out. So you've got to come out and hang out with me and go and do this. So I'm over at the fence line of this installation, right? And I'm there. And I pull up my Jeep. I've got a black Jeep that has Fade to Black license plates. Okay. I've got an alien head sticker on the back window. All right. I'm not hiding. So I park the Jeep and I go up to the fence line, and I'm right outside of Air Force Plant 42. And if you really look that up, and you can go and see it, Air Force Plant 42. Okay. So anyway, I'm there. And I'm taking pictures. I go up to the fence. I can see the gates, right? They have all the barbed wire and the triple fencing, and it's like right there. Anyway, so I pull up. I'm taking pictures, right? I'm like this, and I'm standing on my tippy toes, and this friggin' car, man, pulls right out of the gate and pulls up behind me in the dirt, about 20 yards back. And he's just sitting there right behind me. And I'm like,
there's nothing more eerie than that.
I'm taking these. I jump in the car. Now, what if he's doing his job, or she doing their job, he's now got my license plate number. He's probably taken a couple of pictures, and he's running my tags, and he knows exactly. And then what do? They're going to Google, and they you know what I mean? So they know. And that Fade to Black Jeep has been all over, and I stop all the time and take pictures. So
it's hilarious. You remember I sent you a picture. I'm a Jeep lover too, and I own a Jeep, and my license plate says ST10 on it.
Right.
So I don't know if that means we're spirit soulmates or something, but we're Jeep lovers, and we both got our names on our tags.
Or just trying to get caught, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
They already know anyway where we are.
Okay, we're right behind them, ST10. We're right behind ST10. But what are the other trends that's interesting about Ukraine? And the same comments that I'm making right now about doing a reveal. Do you ever feel that you may be posting something like from the Ukraine that is revealing technology, and that maybe somebody may not like it?
I mean, unless there's information, like you, if I knew it was over a secret U.S. base where I know they're training and testing things that are in support of us and the war effort, then yeah, I wouldn't post it. But if it's a strange object in the sky, taking 50 millimeter tracer rounds to it from day to night, that strikes me as maybe a little something different and worth posting. And that's not to say I've had some very strange things happen over the years that would lead me to believe that I'm at least on someone's radar. I think that anyone putting out this type of information would be on their radar. That's the whole reason. But yeah, I wouldn't attempt to. I go through a lot of analysis before I post something. So.
Now, and speaking of trends, you mentioned, the interdimensionality possibility here.
Yeah.
And that's what physics is telling us today for sure. Now, what are you seeing in videos with that, where things appear and then disappear fairly quickly? There's the CG video where it's click on, click off, where it's like, okay, that's BS. But what do you make of the interdimensionality side of this?
Well, I mean, it's funny that you bring it off, that you bring up the click on, click off thing, is because a lot of people, and this again is anecdotal, it's from over the years from when I've heard about it, that people, they expect UFOs to make really grand entrances and exits, so if you're jumping from a dimension to the other, they think of this awesome Hollywood film they just watched, where there's got to be a plasma field explosion with rumbling. But I do think that I've seen certain sightings where they're there and it's just almost like a jump cut in editing. It's there, it's not, it's just gone. I do think, and I've seen footage of things that disappear slowly, fade off, and leave this sort of plasma like glow or sort of after effect after its appearance or disappearance, and I've had theories about that, whether it's our atmosphere somehow interacting negatively with their craft, or its shield, or its cloaking mechanism. And that brings me to wonder but how many craft have been downed or recovered, dating back to Roswell, where something as simple as just our atmosphere or something like that has interacted with the mechanics of an alien craft and caused it to just go straight down. So as far as the how they jump through different dimensions, I'll ask one of my alien subscribers next time they get in touch with me. I'm not too sure about that.
Right. Now, I wanted to ask you, my answer to this is not going to be what you expect. I don't know what you're going to say, but I will reply. Skinny Bob.
My son's a big fan of that. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of Skinny Bob, the original video?
God, I don't know. Editing is getting so good these days, visual effects, period. But I really haven't done a whole lot of research into, I try to stay strictly to aliens, UFOs, extraterrestrial activity. I've heard plenty about Skinny Bob and this long man that I don't know if I'm confusing that with Slender Man or something like that.
Skinny Bob is an alien.
Okay.
Head.
Is that in the video footage?
It's black and white video footage.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now that video's been out for as long as YouTube has been out. Well, I'm not sure when I first saw Skinny Bob, but it's been probably 10 or 15 years, way before CG was.
Are you talking about the footage that came out where he looks like he's almost wearing a turtleneck and it's black and white and there's grain specks? Because I know there's a more real-like one where you just see the alien's head sort of bobbing in the dark, and it looks like almost like a puppet, like it's real life, and they're trying to communicate with it. It's got black eyes, real dark.
That's not Skinny Bob.
This is the newer one where it's like black and white.
You're talking about the Area 51 video.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about, the Skinny Bob, and it kind of looked CG-ish to me, just the way it's any CG person will tell you it's very hard to to mimic movements, eyes, the blinking of eyes, even walking. So if that's the one I'm thinking of, I'm not sure.
Okay, hold on. I am going to let me bring this up on the screen, and let's see if I can go with this. And let me see if I can go here. This is, this is going to be the best that I can do right now. I don't care. This is Skinny Bob.
Yep, that's what I was thinking about. Yep.
Okay,
it's a cool piece of footage.
It's a cool piece of footage, and the part of this footage that always tripped me out was this one right here. And I look at, I don't know ultimately what's going on here. And when he blinks, you see him blink right there. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So I think that's real. I think it's real. And
you're seeing the cynical nature of me coming up. I always look at things with doubt nowadays because there's so much out there. But yeah, I remember when that came out, and I remember thinking, if that's CG work, it's really damn good work. The way the lighting and the shadows and the blinking, like I mentioned earlier, it's like some Avatar type, James Cameron type stuff. Yeah. I'll have to take a look at that again. I'm definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, Skinny Bob.
It'd be amazing if it was, but I don't know how the government would ever let it get leaked, and if it did, I don't see how it wouldn't be ripped down the moment it got online.
Yeah, I love me some Skinny Bob. I love me some Skinny Bob.
Nice name.
What's funny is, so I just posted that, and then all of the YouTube suggestions are off to the side, so everybody can freeze frame that and see what YouTube is suggesting for me. So let's see here. It's a guitar video. It's a guitar video. Guitar videos. That's what
it ain't like it used to be, the good old days.
Oh man, I love guitar videos. Let's take our break right here. When I come back, I want to know what Tyler does when he's not editing videos. We're going to talk about that too as well. Stay with us. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10 when we come back right after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, and we're heading to Egypt this October. Come join Jimmy Church, myself, and the Forbidden Knowledge team as we spend a week exploring Giza, the Great Sphinx, the Great Pyramid, Saqqara, Dashur, Aswan, Edfu, Dendara, Karnak, and we'll celebrate Jimmy's birthday in Luxor. The Forbidden Tour of Egypt is this October 5th through the 12th and includes a 4-day Nile cruise, expert Egyptologists, and a chance to explore Egypt with Jimmy and I as your host through your journey of a lifetime. Space is limited, so make your reservations now. Please visit forbiddenknowledge.com for information and complete itinerary. That's forbiddenknowledge.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poran Key, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Tyler Glockner is with us, Secureteam10. Tomorrow night is World Bigfoot Radio right here on Fade to Black with Duke Sullivan. It's a Bigfoot night tomorrow night. And then Thursday night, of course, is another Fader night with open lines all night long. But tonight, it's Tyler Glockner. And it's Tyler, does YouTube consume your life? I mean, what do you, how much time do you spend on the internet in a day?
A lot of people think that I'm just on YouTube all day and night, just living, breathing, UFOs and aliens. And in one sense, I am, but I do have a regular life. I have a wife and a 15-year-old son, and I'm a regular guy. I like to go out and play basketball and and hang out with my family. But I do spend quite a lot of time. People don't understand what a daunting process editing is, and researching, and then putting a video together. Sometimes it can take me 2 days just to edit together a 10 to 15 minute video. So I do spend a lot of time on it. I love it. But when I'm done and I post a video, I'm off. I'm done with technology. I need some, otherwise I go crazy, and that's how you burn out. So I love the topic. I do the work, and it's not work in that sense, but you know what I mean? I love to do it, but you got to have that balance. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do that. And I feel it's made me create and be able to do better videos, better editing, and having that healthy balance to it. But I always love the topic.
Do you think and I know you've got to have spent endless nights thinking about this, can the world handle disclosure? I mean, like some president is coming to us live from the Oval Office. We are not alone. Right?
Yeah. I
can you handle that?
Of course. There used to be the old school of thought that they weren't telling us because it would cause mass religious breakdown, hysteria, and things like that. But I think the public at large, due to all of the videos and channels and radio shows and films, it's normal now. So if the president came out and said they're real, I think people would laugh. Like we've been watching Jimmy or Tyler or whoever for years, and I've seen it myself, and this is nothing new. Like, tell us something we don't know. You know, we know they're real.
You're right about that. They would laugh. It's about time. What you know what I mean? I don't think there's going to be anarchy in the streets. I think what would be worse is if the president came on live television saying we are alone, we are all there is, there hasn't been contact. Then you're going to have some problems. I think if the announcement came, it's going to be okay. We can move on now.
Well, it reminds me of that famous quote. There are two possibilities that alien life exists, or we are alone in the universe. Both are equally terrifying, and I think that's true. But you know, I as for any sort of mass hysteria, I know in more religious parts of the world it'll be a hard thing to digest. And again, it reminds me of another quote. It's that if people find out that they're real and it's legit and they're told no ifs or buts about it, that, you know, they won't be able to believe it, but they won't be able to deny it. You know, they may not be able to digest the fact that aliens exist, but they can't deny the truth that they do. But I think we can handle it, you know, so.
Oh, what about aliens on the moon?
You got another 4 hours we can talk?
I do. Let's.
No, I started the channel on that. I love it. It's my favorite facet of this whole subject is lunar anomalies and aliens on the moon. It's what got me into it. The very first YouTube video I watched was a moon anomaly video of possible bases and structures, and without a doubt in my mind, there's alien activity on the moon, without a single shred of doubt.
When I've got a not really expensive, but I've got a medium telescope, and I watch those videos. I do. I love them. With some object going, coming out of a crater and then cruising around the moon. And I sat out in the backyard for a couple of weeks, just staring at the moon, hoping, right, that I get that moment that I see something. I think that something is that. Why not? And that's a pretty good hiding place. In the oceans, great hiding place.
Mm-hmm.
Interdimensional, popping in and out. Okay, that's a good way to stealth and hide and things. If you're going to come and check us out,
mm-hmm.
The moon is right there. I mean, it's right there. Why wouldn't you position yourself there and sit and look at Earth, right?
Yeah, and those were a majority. If you go back to the beginning of the channel and start just binge watching my first video up until present day, there's a lot of moon videos. I still do them. I did one a couple days ago, but there's a lot of questions about how our moon got here. Scientists have not nailed down whatsoever how our moon came to be. There's many different theories, but a theory is just a theory. There's questions of whether it's a moon at all. There's evidence that it's hollow inside, and these are from scientists as well as astronauts who landed on the moon. There's theories that the moon was towed here from space and placed, in our orbit. And the fact that our moon is, there's no other moon or planet in our solar system that is like our moon that we know of. And, I think, to put it short, I think the fact that we had, 6-7 missions, at least publicly, to the moon, one after the other, 1960s, 1970s. And you would see some of these press conferences when they get back, and these astronauts just have these stone cold faces, like almost frightened of what they saw, or they know something they've been told not to talk about it. Now, some people look at that footage and say, well, it's because we never went to the moon, we faked it. No, that's incorrect. I've looked at enough footage and imagery. We went to the moon multiple times. And what's strange is that we stopped going. There was something there to the point where we needed to go back one after the other, up to 5, 6, 7 times that we know of, and then to stop. And even now today, you even mention going to the moon, and the president says, we don't have the technology to get to the moon. So there was something there in my mind that we needed to continue going back at least 6 times. And then afterwards, setting up the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which is what it's called, the LRO. Reconnaissance is a military term. So, and it's there to map out and image what's on the moon, and the fact that we've never been back and the government's telling us we'll never be back. We don't have the technology. It's like a wristwatch powered the Apollo moon landers. So
yes.
I think they saw something there, and I think they investigated it, and then they set up satellites to further surveil it.
When NASA did a press conference, it was about 4 years ago, and I went back and watched it because I couldn't believe what they were saying. And the lead engineer for NASA, who is heading up the Artemis mission, right, our trip back to the moon, said these words. Well, I'm going to paraphrase. I don't have it in front of me, but he goes, when we figure out how to get through the Van Allen belt and the radiation that it presents, then we'll get back to the moon safely. But we haven't figured that out yet. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You did that in 1968, 69, 70, 71, 72 with a wristwatch computer, like you were saying. And so what gives? What do you mean we don't have the technology? It's like an excuse.
They don't want us to go back. Either we were warned off, or because the astronauts only had a matter of hours, a couple days to walk on the moon, to do their EVAs before they had to hop back in and hightail it home. So they had to keep going back one after another to complete studying whatever was there. And then for whatever reason, they didn't go back and, launch the LRO to do their reconnaissance, and which they've also launched a reconnaissance orbiter around Mars as well. But the Van Allen radiation belt theory, it's something that a lot of people use to say we didn't go to the moon because, scientists had said that we could never, it would kill us. There's no way we could go through it and sustain that amount of radiation. But you'd be amazed that if you do just a little bit of research, you would know that the Apollo astronauts and the people and the scientists that created these landings and made them possible, they found a very, very small, thin portion of the Van Allen radiation belts that, if you went through it at a very specific date and time, was so thin with radiation at a certain point that you could safely pass through it. And that's exactly what they did. And it's just easy research to look up. So,
man, check out the big brain on Tyler. That's
well, I used to be a moon hoax person because I had watched documentaries about the shadows not matching and this and that, and I was like a full-blown moon landing denier. And then I just watched videos and research debunking that stuff, and then I just used my eyes and ears and did my own research, watched the endless amount of footage, the thousands of photographs snapped to and from and on. We went to the moon. It's just a no-brainer, and something's there. And the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and the images it's provided, they've attempted to airbrush a lot of the things that are on their route, but they haven't caught everything. And a lot of it I've posted on the channel. So
when I went to the Smithsonian, and I like you, have swung both ways on the Apollo hoax situation, but so I go to the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Washington D.C., and they've got it's probably Apollo 11. They've got one of the capsules there, and you can walk right up and look inside of it. The door's open. And I remember, Tyler, I looked in there and I went, this went to the moon? There's no tech here, right? Got a couple of levers, right? And, and you look and you go, how did that happen? And I'm not so sure it did. And I really walked away from that scratching my head, wanting to be impressed. I went through the space race. I lived through it.
Right.
And watched all of the landings live on TV. I watched all of that stuff, and I wanted to grow up to be an astronaut. But when I saw that,
didn't we all?
That capsule, I was like, man, there might be something to this Apollo hoax. But
let me say two things I forgot to mention. Just because I firmly believe, and I know that the evidence and the data shows it, we went to the moon multiple times. We placed satellites in orbit. We've done it on Mars. We've got a drone on Mars. However, that's not to say that certain footage or imagery wasn't faked to cover up maybe something that was there to the point where they had to fake some of the photographs because there was a structure or a vehicle, and they had to provide the public something to fill up that little time slot where they're off doing their EVA looking at this structure. So I'm not saying that they haven't faked stuff. They do it all the time. And as far as whether we went, and you look at, you go to your story about, you're looking at this tin can, going back to here am I sitting in a tin can, there's this wonderful new movie, and I encourage everyone to go and watch it. It's with, it's starring Ryan Gosling, and it's called First Man.
Oh, it's
and
awesome.
It's
Yeah,
about Neil Armstrong and all of the countless tests and lives that were lost during the Apollo program to perfect this capsule and to perfect landing on the moon. And it's just it makes you cry. It's heartwarming. And it goes from the beginnings of the Apollo program to when they finally planted that flag down in the soil, and it just gives you chills. It's a wonderful film, and it's scientifically accurate. It's a really good film. First Man.
There is a pretty famous photograph out there, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it shows a crater on the moon, and it got leaked. It's an official NASA photograph, and it clearly, now if we were first on the moon, then I want to know who built this. Anyway, it's a pipe, right? It's coming out and then it turns. It's got an angle. It's big, whatever it is. But that is not some anomaly. That is.
I did a video on that. Yeah, it comes out and does like an L. It kind of comes out of this inside of the crater and goes back in to the crater.
Yes.
Yeah. Without a doubt, the moon would be the perfect alien satellite outpost to watch us, to view us, or at least to just station themselves once they reached our solar system. You have the astronauts in official Apollo transcripts, talking about seeing lights as they orbited the dark side of the moon and hearing music, as they called it. And there's one mission where the astronaut can be heard on recording saying that we've had visitors again. And the other astronaut sort of just shruggingly just says, agree. And they just keep going with their EVA, testing the soil. Really ominous recording. We've had visitors again. And it's just a lot of strange stuff in these Apollo transcripts that have been edited, mixed around, but you find some gems in there, especially in the footage.
Yeah, you really do. I wanted to ask you, since we're talking about the moon, Roland Emmerich, Moonfall. Have you seen the movie?
I haven't seen it. I was so excited, but someone was like, it's a stinker. So I was like,
no, I've watched it.
I have to see it.
I've watched it 5 times.
I saw it on Amazon last night, and I was like, I got to rent that.
You got to. Oh, man.
Now I really am.
Okay. All right. Well,
good?
Okay. It's fantastic. It's great. But here's the thing. I'm not going to give anything away in the movie, but I want to talk about Roland Emmerich. It makes me feel that somebody like Roland Emmerich, who wrote and directed this movie, listens to Fade to Black, or he subscribes to Secureteam10.
He would have to.
When you get to the end of the movie, right? Because everything that you just discussed tonight, that the moon was towed here, it's a
hollow moon, all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. So that's it. Just go and watch Moonfall.
I will. Yeah.
It's
I'm going to.
and it just makes me wonder. I'm not suggesting I'm not going crazy town. What I am saying is that Hollywood is as much a part of our community as any other group out there, where I feel that they are interested in these subjects and they are listening and they are following us. And sometimes we feel like, we're alone out here and that we're fighting the good fight. But I think that people are watching and they are taking note about what you do, Tyler.
Well, likewise, and to you, Jimmy. It's they've got to get their ideas for something, and even if it's just to make a cool film and make a profit, you're still, it could be one of these directors that is really interested, wants to make a film about it, and when it comes to moons, period, there's a moon of, I believe it's either Jupiter or Saturn, called Iapetus, and right around the equator, dead center, there's a 12-mile high ridge, almost as if you had two slices, halves, welded together. And it's proven. There's NASA images of it taken by the Voyager satellites. It looks like two pieces molded together, has hexagon-shaped craters, and 12-mile high ridge, dead center of the equator, wrapping all the way around. And it's just so we're not talking crazy when we're talking about artificial satellites that look like moons. When you've seen the stuff you and me have seen and heard and researched, nothing's impossible once you've seen all that.
Now, what do you make of some of these images from Mars?
I mean, for the most part, if they're not covering up something, I think they're legitimate. They tweak it to make the color look like some red, hazy, dead, radiation-covered planet, when we know for a fact that some of the first Viking images that came back from Mars in the 70s and then the 80s showed beautiful, crisp, blue, Earth-like skies. And then later on, they'll have these slip-ups where they show the supposed false color. But, I just did a video about how they discovered this huge aurora on Mars that span the entire planet. And, Mars supposedly has virtually no atmosphere, to the point where if you're on the planet, you should be just looking up at darkness. But they have beautiful blue skies, dust, wind, clouds, and auroras, which are caused by a magnetic field that Mars apparently has that interacts with said atmosphere to cause this beautiful green aurora like we have on Earth. And that was a huge discovery just recently within the last couple of weeks. So other than changing the color of Mars to make it look just totally inhospitable, I think there's something there. And I think that's why we've got reconnaissance orbiters there, and more so there than maybe even the moon. To my knowledge, we don't have a drone on the moon, so that's pretty crazy. So you can kind of tell by the focus they're putting on certain planets or moons by how many billions and trillions of dollars worth of tech they throw at it. If there was nothing there and it was red and dead, then why the hell are you putting drones on it?
And when these pictures get published, they're all over the net. I've been looking at them for years, showing objects on the surface of Mars and speculation of what some of these things may be. I'm not suggesting they're all accurate, and I'm not suggesting
the monoliths.
Well, now Phobos
and on Phobos.
There's
one on Mars and on Phobos.
I haven't seen a monolith on Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a couple.
Have you done a video on that?
I've done multiple videos on them. Yeah. I've done videos solely based where the title is like monoliths on Mars, or the monoliths around Mars, where, some of them are perfect, really thin rectangles. Others are more perfectly square shaped blocks. And there's one on Mars and one on Phobos, and there's
the
a lot
one
of speculation about Phobos being an alien satellite.
That one on Phobos is a head scratcher for sure.
Casting the shadow. Yeah.
It's big. Buzz Aldrin has been very outspoken about Phobos, and
I remember him saying monolith. There's a monolith.
Right. That we need to go and find. The Russians tried twice to get close, and bad things happened. There is
probes were knocked out. Yeah.
There's a pretty crazy photograph of the flying saucer approaching that satellite.
It looked like a big cigar almost, miles long. It looked like, but they sent 2 probes out. One was knocked out immediately, and then the second one was knocked out. But it captured those couple of photographs right before, and shown this massive that dwarfed the size of the moon. It was giant.
It's big. It's big.
Yeah.
Now, with Elon Musk, planning this trip to Mars, that is private. We're talking about a private company here. If they make a discovery on Mars and they find something, they look down and find a 10 million year old cell phone lying on the surface of Mars, whatever. Do you expect that information to get back to us?
It's possible. Elon doesn't seem to. Well, first, he has Asperger's, so he's by definition he's different. He doesn't work by the same, principles and the way we do, to where we can, we know when to stay quiet and we know how to toe the line and not say this or that. He has sort of a filter where he gets to, and he does do whatever he wants, and I know that he's in contracts with the government and the Pentagon. It was the Pentagon that shipped off his Starlink servers to Ukraine, so they could have internet and communications between the soldiers. So he's definitely, and obviously with the International Space Station and his rocket, so he's definitely intertwined with NASA, the government, and the Pentagon. But with Elon, just like taking over Twitter like it's nothing. I think he could easily reveal something, even if he knew it would cause him his life. Look what he's done thus far. Just crazy stuff on a whim, and you think it's all bull, but then he does it, and then he succeeds at it. So I don't think there's any controlling him. I hope he lets us know if you find something.
Yeah. We're going to Mars. And see, back to our other point, I've just got 20 seconds before we head to the break, and then we'll come back. But our issues trying to get back to the moon, right? And all of the, and Elon comes along, and he's just going straight to Mars.
He proved it. Yeah. He's creating self-landing rockets. He created a new capsule that fit 4 people in it. He's launched that capsule with 8 different people plus since then. So that lie that we don't have the technology to go to the moon, he just stomped that out like a cigarette butt in 2 seconds. Not only do we have capsules and rockets to get to the ISS and to Mars, obviously we can get to the moon, but I feel like there's something to where even he's like been told by the government not to go to the moon, to stay away from it.
Right.
That's just me. Who knows?
Let's take our break. We'll come back more with Tyler Glockner of Secureteam10. What a great conversation tonight. And Tyler, am I the only interviews you've ever done?
I think I've done 1 or 2 in 9 or 10 years. But yeah, you I don't like doing them, but for you, I'll do them.
Yeah, man. I just want to thank you for that. So stay right there. We'll pick up where we are leaving off right now. Our guest tonight, the one and only Tyler Glockner. And it's no joke when we say the biggest channel about UFOs on YouTube. That's right. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, the X.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Unix Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30 days free. That's coupon code 30 days free on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, tonight. Tyler Glockner, Secureteam10. It's been a great conversation tonight. And here's the thing, Tyler, we are now into overtime, and I like to loosen up a little bit. And so we'll take our serious hats off for this last segment. But I want to know, what is the alien craft in a video that gets you excited, where you're like, okay, man, here we go. This is it. What gets you excited?
You mean a particular piece of footage?
What type of craft?
Oh, man. I mean, I guess I'm a bit of a weirdo. It kind of all gets me excited. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I mean, it just, the phenomenon, period. I love saucers, but I like stuff. I like new stuff that I've never seen before, that isn't just traditional style 1950s flying saucers. Like, I love seeing new, just weird stuff where you'll see different shapes or lights that have some sort of connection with one another, or some sort of distortion happening, where it's just like, whoa, I've never seen anything like that. That's definitely something different. It's not just a light in the distance or a triangle. It's like truly something that makes you think there's no way that's ours. And if it's not natural and I've never seen anything like that before, then that's something pretty amazing. So I'm always looking out for new stuff like that, but it all, it makes, it just, I go down further, down the rabbit hole every day. It's just an addiction.
Did you mentioned, makes two of us, man. You mentioned UFO Reddit, and last week this video started to make the circulation. I think it was shot back in 2006, 2007. It's on a beach, and you see this. It looks like a Billy Meyer. I think they called it old school UFO or something. And did you see the video? Oh, you missed it.
No, I don't get on UFO Reddit a whole bunch.
Well, let me.
Reddit, there's a lot of toxic stuff on there, so I try to stick with my viewers and their submissions. But no, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so the video makes its rounds, and then there were people requesting the original video, and so anyway, it's a beach, right? Waves crashing, and you see this UFO pop up, and it's moving along the beach, and it's a flying saucer. It's like a Billy Meyer type of old school, 70s silver,
kind of like swinging on a wire, bobbing.
Yeah, almost. Okay, so anyway, at the end of the video, right, cut, right, it just disappears. So anyway, there was this whole conversation about this is it's the most real video. And then there's a researcher out there. I love him to death. His name is Isaac Coy. And so Isaac jumps in and goes, okay, this is the story behind that video. And if you really want a good source of information, go to Isaac Coy's website, and he's just, man, he's got it all there. It's great. It's a researcher's website. Okay, so anyway, it was a demo reel put together by a CG artist, and he sent it out, to different filmmakers in Hollywood, and it was part of his, his resume, and that's all it was. And it was from 2007. That reveal from Isaac wasn't enough to silence people, right? Oh, of course you're going to say that, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
Yeah. It's there was another video that was allegedly taken in the Santa Clarita Valley, which is, close to where I live, a few miles away. And the video, when it got posted on YouTube, even I went and said, wow, that's really clever CGI. Well done. And it's one craft flies over the car, and dude, it's like a serious, like alien invasion, Independence Day thing, right? And then another one flies over, camera follows it, and they fly off into the distance. It's a crazy good CG video, really well done, really well rendered.
Yeah.
But people bought it, right? And so this guy, I can't remember his name, produces an entire video how he did it, how he built the renders, how he built the craft, how he did it. He works in Hollywood. I don't know. He worked on Avatar, whatever, right? This is a very serious, but even that video, the how-to video, right?
People believe it's the government, so trying to cover it up. Yeah.
Right. Why is it that people want to believe what they want to believe, and no matter what you tell them, they're not going to buy into it? Why do you think that is?
I think it's just in man's or just human nature for people to want to believe, whether you're talking about religion, aliens, anything, something out there, something bigger than themselves, something more, something that they don't know about, something better. It just depends. I think it's slippery because there are very good UFO CGIs out there, and that's how you have to know how to properly analyze a piece of footage, because if you've got crazy UFOs flying over a beach, you're going to have multiple pieces of footage uploaded to TikTok and YouTube, and it's going to be all over. But people just want to believe, and I get it. It gets to a point where they see what appears to be an authentic, amazing piece of footage, and it's very hard to swallow the fact that someone created that, because to some people it almost does a disservice to this research. But again, like you said, it was a demo reel. He wasn't trying to hurt or fool anyone. But I think people just have a want, a need, whether they're an atheist, whether they believe in aliens or anything else. Like I said, it applies to anything. We want to believe that there's something more than just our everyday life of the same monotonous stuff. And there's just something out there when we look at all those billions of stars, that's my take.
Yeah, no question about it. And one thing that I don't know if you've talked about much, certainly you and I haven't discussed this, but with everything that is going on right now with UAPs and UFOs and in the media, and of course the Department of Defense, everything that's going on, there's another part to this story, which is alien abductions. And you can even add cattle mutilations to that too as well. But alien abductions and some of the most famous UFO cases, which is something I wanted to ask you about too as well. Some of the most famous, Betty and Barney Hill or Travis Walton, Betty
Ash Landrum.
Yeah, right. So, what's your take on that with alien abductions and the hybrid program?
I mean, I don't know about. Again, I'm not an alien, and I'm not privy to secret government documents, but certainly the cases you just mentioned, and again, I've done many videos on specifically abductions, other videos specifically on cattle mutilations. And most of those videos, were age restricted, but people always ask me, Tyler, can you do a video on this? And I'm like, I did one like 4 years ago, you just have to search it up. But, when you have cattle and other animals that are drained of blood, but are it's surgical. It's like a laser, they're cut and they have these holes that are triangles and just surgical precision. And then you have these abductions around the world that all seem to, they're very familiar, so it can't just be some sort of mass hysteria where everyone is somehow dreaming the same exact thing. We're talking, probably millions of people over 100 years, so I definitely think people have been abducted. I'm not opposed to the idea that there are good aliens, malevolent aliens, and benevolent, a good side and a dark side, different species look at all the millions of species we have on this planet. So I'd have to think there are many different species of aliens out there, some further ahead than others, others more primal, looking for planets to take over, while others are trying to, save things and save planets from, from the bad ones. So I definitely think it's legit. I definitely think, from what I've seen in the videos I've done, it's without another one of those things, kind of like without question to me.
Yeah, right. And what's your again, we're in overtime, so these are rapid fire questions. What's your favorite case?
I really like the one I just mentioned, the Cash Landrum incident. That they're driving down this road. What was it, 1970s? They're driving one of these cars when they were still all made of steel and iron, and you could
we're still made of
you
steel.
you could wreck them into a freight train and barely have a dent in the bumper of the car, and they see this glowing diamond shaped UFO come down to them, and it gets the car. They get out of the car. They had a child with them, and it gave them radiation burns and poisoning, and it made the hood of the car so hot that when they touched it, it burned them. It started to melt the car and the frame, and some of the females had hair missing and burns, and that was a great case, But if we're talking current, I really like. I don't know if you would call it a case, but the Puerto Rico footage of the UFO, flying into the homeland, and then
the
coming
Homeland
up
Security video
without any water resistance, going under the ocean, come back up, splitting into two. I mean, I've just analyzed that footage and featured it so many times just because it's mind blowing. It's one thing to have a craft go into the water and come back up, but you can see this thing under the waves. And from the moment it goes into the waves, it doesn't decrease in speed once. It's like there's no resistance from the water or the wind.
Right.
And then to have it split in two, that's another one of my favorites, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Too many to count, though,
Well, I'm not so sure what part of that video is my favorite. Right? When it's flying over the runway, over the hangars, right? That's impressive. But I think the end of the video might be the best part.
And the fact that they track it from beginning to the end. It's like an 8-minute video, know? I know people on my channel, they don't like it when I post videos, but sometimes it's just how people are. They'll record it for 20 seconds and then stop recording before it even leaves the UFO, So when I see a piece of footage that lasts, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, that makes my spider senses tingle that this is legit. It's not just a 20-second video where you don't know how to enter, don't know how to exit it. So, that's one of my favorite cases. But I love all the old retro, old school Betty and Barney and Cash Landrum and all the real documented and studied cases, Travis Walton. I like to know the story behind something, and it's just very interesting. I wish we had more cases like that today.
Yeah, Rendlesham for me still rates up there, and for a lot of reasons. But one of it, even though it's now 42 years old, it's a modern case, right? Everybody's still alive. It's military. And it's so documented. And you have the audio footage or the audio recordings from Colonel Halt. There is something about the Rendlesham case for me that keeps it up there too as well.
Yeah, it's the forest incident, right?
Yeah, Rendlesham Forest. Yeah. Now, I wanted to, you brought up Roswell. And it's so funny to me where we can talk about Betty and Barney Hill, or we can talk about Travis Walton or Cash Landrum. Still, the one case, right? I mean, the one is Roswell. I mean, that is a crazy, crazy situation. What do you make of Roswell? Do you think that we'll ever get to the truth?
I think Roswell was, it was just one of those times in history where where lightning struck and there was something in the air, and then that story, it happened, and then the newspaper reported on it, and then they pulled it, put up the fake story. First it was a flying disc with bodies, then it was just a weather balloon. It was just obvious, and I think it's just so famous because it was one of the first major UFO incidents that was made public, internationally. I think it happened. I think the government immediately tried to cover it up, which the evidence shows they did via the newspapers. Radioactive soil around the crash site. I don't know. I've heard that they took the wreckage to Wright-Patterson. I believe they recovered a UFO. I believe it. If these things are visiting us to the amount of times that I've published in thousands of videos over almost 10 years, there's bound to be a point where we've downed one of them with some sort of technology or recovered one just by happenstance, like Bob Lazar once said, and whether you want to believe his story or not, he said a lot of the things that are recovered were unearthed, were dug up, we didn't make them crash. They were already buried. So, yeah, man, like all I know is it's happening, it's legit.
Yeah. And you're one of the very few people to interview Bob Lazar. And what do you, when you look at Bob, right in the eyes and you're speaking to him, how do you feel? It's about somebody that's been, critiqued and picked apart over the years, and I've done my share of it too as well. How do you feel?
I mean, I think I met you the same day I was in LA for the premiere of that, or maybe it wasn't. I've only been to Los Angeles once, so it had to have been one of those times. But I had known about Lazar since I started my channel, but I wasn't like focused on him 100%. I knew it was a crazy cool story, and I remember it from my youth and the news talking about him. But when I shook his hand, there was the premiere of the movie, and I think I did the exclusive interview with him before anyone else after 20 some years. And I was like, my mind was blown. Seemed like a legit, sincere guy. Met him in Los Angeles in person, took pictures. My son was there. He took a picture with Bob, and he struck me. I pride myself on not only being able to decipher BS UFO footage that people send in or this or that, but my cynicalness in this industry has made me it's made me hone my skills in reading people. And so I can usually get a good read on someone within seconds of meeting them. And Bob, it just rang true. He shook my hand, and, we talked for a minute and hung out, and it just rang true. He went on Joe. Joe is the best psychoanalyzer of anybody without a degree in it. And, he can smell BS a mile away. And even after that, and how kind of weird that interview was, because I don't think Bob is telling the whole truth, but I think the evidence shows he was there. He saw things. Joe saw it when he interviewed him, and that his story hasn't changed, except little white lie details. Like he said he went to MIT or whatever, but he really didn't. Every guy wants to make themselves seem more than they are. But the core story has never really changed. And, John Lear, who I just did a video on, a memorial video where I made the intro, sort of a memorial to him meeting up with Lazar. I don't know. When I met Lazar, my read on him was there's some truth to this. He was there. He did something.
Now, we've just got 4 minutes left. You did a video, speaking of Bob Lazar, one of your best videos, and I'm saying this with enthusiasm, was when you found the construction of the tunnels next to Area 51. And that video, Tyler, I watched it over and over and over again. Then I went to Google Earth and found it and looked at it from every angle. How did you find that tunnel? Did somebody tell you about it, or were you just spending way too much time on Google Maps.
I'm trying to think of the exact video you're talking about. Because again, for those of you who don't know, I almost died a year ago, was in a coma. Half my memory was wiped. So I don't remember doing half the videos I've done. It's slowly coming back to me, but I'll take it your word for it. I early on, because I started doing moon anomalies, you quickly learn that you have to sit for hours and hours, all day, all night, scanning just one image, to try to find an anomaly. So I got really used to hyper focusing, almost to the point of, totally being unhealthy, of just scanning and analyzing. And the same thing happened with Google Maps when I started to find anomalies on Earth and around Area 51. So, I think there was a time where Google Maps was more in its infancy, and they weren't as quick to be able to cover up things as they are now. So I was able to catch it. There's a big difference now. I think they cover a lot more stuff up before it's even released. But back in the day, I could find it. If it was there, chances are I'd find it.
You did. You found it, man. That was an incredible video.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for this conversation tonight. And as we say goodnight, what are you working on now? What's the next video? Give us a sneak peek.
I have some new moon anomaly footage, of course.
Okay.
Just overall UFO strangeness, man. You know how I roll. Just the same old stuff. I'm trying to blow people's minds with every video, and you put out a good video, it's really hard to one up yourself if you had a really good one. So I'm not going to give out too much, but it'll be interesting. That's for sure. I've got some footage in the mix, and we'll see what happens, man. I might have the Holy Grail. I got to go check those 300,000 emails.
You're right.
Yeah.
Secureteam10. And I mean, what a crazy run and ride it has been for you, Tyler. And thank you for taking the time with us. Everybody knows how to get to Secureteam10. And you had a bunch of your fans here tonight in the chat room. It was really good to see
from you. Has been amazing. Yeah, everyone's been so amazing. And most YouTubers disappear for a year. They don't have fans when they come back. I was one of the lucky few, and you were one of the guys always checking on me. So thank you to the fans and everyone. And I love all of you. So rock and roll. Let's keep doing it.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Be safe. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody, it is Secureteam10 right there. Everybody knows where Secureteam10 is on YouTube. We do have the links up, though, in case you're one of the very few in our community that isn't subscribed to Tyler's channel. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black, and I want to remind everybody what is going on here tomorrow night. It is all Bigfoot all night long tomorrow night because we have Duke Sullivan here from World Bigfoot Radio. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. What a great show tonight. I want to thank Tyler again for coming in and hanging out with us. What a great show. What a great conversation. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until tomorrow night with Bigfoot and Duke Sullivan, I want everybody to be safe. It's time to fade to black.